Hello everybody, NGS here and welcome back to Witch Hat Atelier, episode 11, the... no, not the penultimate one, not the penultimate one, we have 13 episodes, but an episode where something will certainly happen, something that will probably kickstart the episode 12 and 13 finale. That's about more or less how I see it. We'll see, of course. But that would be my prediction. That today's episode might be a little slice of lifey, but then by the end, we're gonna get a tease for what's gonna happen in the last couple of episodes. Okay, a bit of housekeeping. I got my ring light up and running again. I put it behind a sheath of paper, so hopefully it's dispersed enough and it's not gonna reflect in my glasses. I know that it's probably very annoying, both lights of mine just reflecting, but I can't really do anything about it. That's glasses for you. I mean, I guess I could get like a bigger light source and place it further, but there is no further to place it because there's a window right the fuck over there. So we gotta we gotta work with what we got to work. But hopefully the ring light is going to help a little bit. And that's about it for housekeeping. So, what happened in the previous episode? Let's maybe start with that. Previous episode was pretty much entirely focused on Tarta. Tarta and a little bit on Coco. It was mostly a Tarta episode, though. We got to get into his head a little bit more, right? Like how he navigates the world, how he sees the world, what he thinks about things, and what he has been taught about the world. I don't want to say he learned about the world, but was taught. Uh, because what I mean here is the whole shtick with, oh, you can't see in color, you're never going to be a witch, right? That was a taught behavior, taught way of thinking. To not to say, brain. What's the term? Not mind controlled, not brain fucked. You know what I mean? Propaganda and shit. And this entire episode was all about how, hey, he actually is a capable witch. He has the potential to be a capable witch if only someone told him that being a witch is okay. And that's basically what Coco did, and that's basically the clue of the episode, where Coco told him, hey, you can draw, you can like improve the spell I drew, make it better, and it's gonna be your spell now. You can be a witch, you can make spells, it's going to be yours. Like, I came up with the idea, but I have Japanese cold, which is a deadly illness, so I wasn't able to execute it on it perfectly. And hey, maybe you can, and turns out that he can. He can very much, because he has the eye for details, for precision, perfectly symmetrical, and even he learned all those skills while creating pens and shit, right? So he has a lot of skill, kind of like Coco, right? Who had the baseline skill of drawing really well from her work at her mother's place, right? Drawing the shapes for clothes and cutting everything evenly, stuff like that. And similarly, Tarta learned those skills, similar skills, when working on pens and wands and stuff. So there are some nice parallels here. And nobody really told Coco that, doing magic is okay, but she was the one to tell Tarta that doing magic is okay. Kind of makes me wonder if his grandpa ever had any sort of, talk about it with him, or was it simply the case of Tarta from a very young age already having the thought mindset of I'm never gonna be a witch, so not even asking like, Gramps, can you teach me some magic? Maybe. I know, but a bit of a blockade was destroyed, and that little pebble of the avalanche that what's his face Estes was so afraid of started to fall. Because what's next? Like every single silver vision person in the world is going to start casting magic? Preposterous! We can't have that, can we? So it's gonna be interesting to see the repercussions. One repercussion certainly is hopefully is going to be that Coco is going to have her pen finally. Qifrey is not particularly pressed to buy her a pen, but hopefully at least Tarta makes good on his promise and makes a pen for her. That'd be nice for her to finally get her own pen by the end of the season, right? And yeah, the whole episode was basically all about that, about Tarta's struggles and how Coco was willing to help him with them, or rather help him help himself. That's how I see it, at least. And it was also a little bit about Coco, like about her nightmares, right? She was having nightmares about the whole situation with the crystallization and stuff. But she came up with the idea of reversing a spell, right? Instead of compacting, then no, instead of shredding, compacting to create like the original shape of the ingredient from dust that the ingredient was turned into. And that gave her hope, because if shredding spell could be reversed fairly easily by just changing the direction of some arrows, that probably means that most, if not all, spells can be reversed. That includes forbidden magic, that includes petrification. So that gave her hope, that hopefully will help with her nightmares. And the final big thing that happened was the reveal of another Brim Hat who appeared before Egwene, and essentially proclaimed that she will be, entering the scene now. She will try to seduce Coco to their side, and it's going to be interesting because she's invisible. At least that's the trait that is front and center, right? She's completely invisible, just her cloak and her hat can be seen. But I wonder if it's only invisibility, or something like being able to change the looks to like any sort of degree, being able to become invisible, being able to turn into other people. I don't know. Like, initially I thought that it might be just some tattoo that she has on her that just turns her permanently invisible. But now that I think about it, wouldn't it be a little bit of a waste for just that single spell of invisibility? Right? Or would it make more sense to, like, if you're already tattooing a spell on your body, would it make more sense to, like, go a little further? Maybe. I don't know. I have no clue if that's something that magic can even do. We haven't really seen any particular limits, but I can see magic spells possibly that like manipulate how the light is bending, and she's invisible because the light bends around her, and she can change form into a different look because she changes how the light bends. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing that witches can do. Maybe not. Maybe we'll see about it in this episode. Maybe we won't. But to know about whether we will or we won't, we're gonna have to watch it, shall we? To do that, you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along with me, unless you don't want to, and you wanna watch picture-in-picture version, in which case the anime video is right here, and I'm offset a little bit more so you can see everything perfectly. In that case, you can go to my Patreon. Every single episode, picture-in-picture version, is right there. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want to monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs nothing to do so, and it helps the channel a lot. And with that, we can start watching Witch Hat Atelier episode 11 in 3, 2, 1, go! Something running. Wolf pangolins. Where's her hat, Agate? Is she testing her new boots? Okay, that's interesting. Weird that your train of thought went from mating to Coco. She's probably thinking about how, she should also shed her own scales, right? To not hurt the people around her because they're protective, but also sharp and yada yada. I wonder what today's episode's gonna be about. Right, in a previous episode there was also a mention of, I initially thought that it's about Coco, but someone in the comments mentioned that it was probably about Agat. The next test, right? Agot technically fulfilled the requirement by creating that glowing flare of light. So I wonder if we're gonna get an Agot-focused episode. Sorry if I'm gonna be yawning every now and then, but it's late. I'm recording it quite late, so I might be a little yawny. The test in Serpentback Cave, yep. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, Qifrey kind of specializes in water magic, right? Yeah, seamstress hand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Like, sure, try all sorts of different spells, but when, like, push comes to shove and you're not confident, fall back to what you know you're good at. Yeah, so focus on your deficiencies. Yeah, makes sense. That's a lot of books for something that's essentially drawing shapes. Then again, yeah, spell books are more like picture books, so makes sense. A little. Hmm. Okay. Why? That was a serious face, too. Hmm. A lot of do's and don'ts. She doesn't like those, does she? I mean, he's just been sleeping on the couch. Ah, this fucking bum. You didn't say anything wrong, Coco. Come on. She probably, like, flew out of the window. She's in a pot. Huh? Oh! Pocket dimension! Huh? Or a passage somewhere. What? Yeah. I don't think Riche would be so advanced as to be able to cast a spell like this. I don't think this is Riche's doing. Oh, it is. She set up a base here. Or she found this space and adapted it. Yeah, the cave is whatever, but the ribbons, though. Okay, what's your deal, Riche? When are we getting to the flashback? Oh, I thought they were like solid and made of glass. Kind of like Christmas ornaments. Hmm. Why? Okay, so we are again with the do's and don'ts. Yep. Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. Probably a very strict witch, very by the book. Very like, take this spell from this book and repeat it 50 times until you get it perfectly kinda teacher, right? Scales? No. Looks like amethyst? Hmm. Okay. That's cool. Is it always active or how do you activate it? Ah, tsundere. Once for you. Yeah, I mean, hmm. Olurugio really likes spells that aren't like particularly impactful, but are, how do I say it? Fun in a way, cozy, kinda, right? Like the glowing rocks, the glowing path, or this one that heats up your covers. Okay. Serpentback Cave. Young Riche. Richerito. And whomst are you? Really? Brother? Older brother? With a characteristic bracelet? Hmm. Okay, so that was certainly a big part of what had impact on Riche. And then he left to become someone's apprentice without telling Riche that he's going away to become someone's apprentice. What's going on there? Rest is important. I mean, you gotta be well rested before you take a test. Here's half a bread loaf. Good luck. Oh, I thought it's like rations for the road. Whomst. think that might be reflecting on you as a teacher, not on him as a student. Hmm. Another person? That brush body is scared of? What the fuck are you? Huh. Right. It's not forbidden if it's cast on clothes. Uh, didn't we already meet her in the whatchamacallit? Uh when uh when Qifrey went to grab Coco's hat, right? Oh great, escort quest. Hmm. Wait, Coco is taking the test as well? What? Weird as penguins. Hmm. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. I like that reasoning. Why is everybody taking part though? Huh? Richa? Hmm. A statement. Not a question, not an ask, not a plea. Okay, so not everybody's going. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, sometimes like, uh, doing the things that you have to do but don't want to empowers you to do the things that you want to do. Right? Like, I don't want to have a job. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I don't want to. But without a job, I don't have the money. And money is how I can do the things that I want to do. Right? Talk to the hand, motherfucker. Can he lose his license, please? Okay, so this is what the finale is going to be. Probably. I'm gonna assume the next episode everything goes mostly well. Then by the end, the vacation hits the ventilation, and the final episode is a battle with the brim hats. Unexpected. I like the music here. Yeah? Why is it a ruin? Non-Euclidean geometry? Some sort of like glue spell for the boots. Or like a inverted sylph shoes spell that doesn't lift you up but rather pushes you towards the ground so you can like walk on the ceiling. That's an idea. Easiest thing would probably be to fly, right? Question is, would that expose you? Can those penguin things fly? If they can fly, then you could disguise as one of them and fly using sylph shoes and pretend that you're flying using your wings. Right? Not an easy test though. Like, it's one thing hiding the process of drawing magic, right? Like, you can do it underneath your cloak. It's a different thing having to hide the effects of it. The Shadow of Romonon. Right, this is the like cave of Romonon. So we're gonna meet its shadow. Okay. Let us watch it again, shall we? Yeah, that can stay there. Pangolin wolves, scale wolves. They shed their fur through sharp impacts to prevent harm to their coming offspring. Even though they could stay as strong as they are if they choose not to mate, they have nothing to offer to the world of magic, but if she correctly learns how everything works, how is she any different from us? It's a very good question, right? We are again coming back to the fact that there's absolutely no difference whatsoever between regular humans and witches besides the knowledge of how magic works. It's not an innate trait, it's not a bile sac on your heart, it's nothing of the sort. It's just knowledge. Like, Agot is about as much of a human as Kustas, right? The boy that they rescued from the river, right? They are the exact same, the only difference is knowledge. Scale wolves were, I guess, a little bit of a Chekhov's gun, kinda sorta. Because I don't fully see the importance of them and the shedding of the scales to not hurt their young ones. The only thing that comes to mind is Agot kinda considering shedding her own scales to not hurt the people around her. Kinda sorta deal. But that's about the only thing that comes to mind. I'm so happy. There aren't many spells I'm fully confident in. I'll probably end up failing. Yeah, but you have a specialty. You draw straight lines really well. So your levitation magic might not be great, but those earth or rock or whatever those are spells, you're gonna do really well. And if you wanna direct a spell somewhere, right, you're gonna have a lot of precision directing that spell because your lines in those arrows are gonna be very straight and very even and very to the point, right? So strengths and weaknesses. So say Coco draws a seal of like a directionary isn't even a word, is it? Like a fireball that flies in a direction. The fireball might not be the best quality because the flame sigil is a little scribbly wobbly, but it's going to fly through because she can draw that, straight propelling line very well. Will give you confidence when you need to believe in yourself. That is a good thought, I feel. Doing the things that you know how to do will give you confidence when you're out of your depth, kinda. And I actually do find it to be true, I do find it to be true when I'm working on when I'm programming, right? I have my project that I'm running. It's currently in beta. A couple of people are testing it. Maybe I'm gonna unveil it soon-ish. But yeah, when I'm programming it and I'm like super stuck, right? I don't know what further to do. I got lost in my own, code. I've no idea where to go. I'm way out of my depth. I often go back to things that are, trivial, that I know how to do by heart. Maybe it's another tiny little project that it's just a fun library that maybe someone's gonna use. Maybe I go back to implement some functionality that's very easy to implement, but I just didn't, and it's just, routine task implementing it. And that helps me not burn out. Because if I were, bashing my head constantly at the feature that I've no fucking clue how to handle, then I would just stop and drop the project and never touch it again. So it's true what Qifrey says. Like, going back to the things that you know and like helps a lot. in general, I don't know if it's actually like a, you know, vetted research that's available anywhere. So I'm just gonna say it's an anecdote. Um, it's similar with media consumption. Uh, People in bad headspace, for example, people who are maybe tired, maybe depressed a little, maybe anxious, they tend to go back to the things that they know and love. Rereading a book, rewatching a movie, re-binging a TV series, rereading a fanfic they really liked, instead of searching for new experiences that might be tough and carry a certain modicum of the unknown, right? Again, I don't know if it's an actual research, but I heard it anecdotically, I guess you could say. I'll charge straight into success. Right, but because we know what your specialty is, so you're just kinda gonna improve on your own because you know how to do it, you like doing it, you're gonna veer into that direction naturally. We need to counterbalance that and have you learning the things that you know, don't know how to do all that well. Makes perfect sense. Right? Like, I know, in school, when a student knows, I know, Boolean logic really well, but doesn't do all that well with probability or something, you can drop a lot of the Boolean logic, right? And they probably already understand it and focus on teaching them the probability. That was kind of my case. Like, Boolean logic is banal and easy and clear, and I was bored during lectures because it's just true and false and the combinations thereof. But I had to teach people that after hours. Like, they would come to me and some even pay me to teach them that. Weird. And they had to teach me, like, probability and stuff, because I wasn't great at that. Now that I know how they work. Yep. I appreciate how hard they must have been to design. Yeah, it's probably not easy to design complex spells that are stable, most of all. Like, you can draw a bunch of bullshit on a sheet of paper and it's probably gonna work, it's probably gonna do something, right? But is it going to do any, like, specific particular thing? Probably not. So, it's crazy that people on, like, Reddit and Tumblr and wherever created spells like, nuke or instant blindness. That was another spell that someone created. Yeah, not easy. Wanna look with me, Riche? No. No. Face in darkness, legs like feet directed at each other, defensive posture, you could say. Studying magic isn't all about training your hands, yeah. Looking at the advanced spells of others will train your eyes too. But Riche doesn't want to look. Where did this secret passage come from, I wonder? Like, is it actually a spell that Riche created? We see her in this space in the flashback. Is it like a pot that she got as a gift? From her brother, maybe? From her parents? From someone that she uses as a safe space? And she's like bringing it wherever she is? Probably. Pretty ribbons. Wow, that's amazing. Now, that got Reach's attention. I really love this spell. Right? That really got her attention. That someone's enjoying her magic. But somehow not in the same way that we know Tetia likes when people enjoy her magic. I don't know how to put it in words best. Tetia is very open about the fact that she wants to be thanked, essentially, kinda, right? She likes to be thanked. And so if she creates a spell that's gonna help someone and someone thanks her for that spell, that's like good. She's very open about that. Riche, I don't think she knows herself that she has that need for validation. Like, I don't think that in this moment, Riche is fully aware of what she's doing and how she's reacting. Why don't you want to look at the books? I love looking at other people's spells. I only want to think about my own spells. If I start looking at books, they'll start telling me to draw what's in there. I'll have to draw things I don't want to draw. I'm sick of that. Yeah, it tells me that she was... I don't want to say abused, but she wasn't taught well at the previous atelier she was at. She had a teacher of the kind that just tells her to repeat the spell, and even if she gets it and it's a boring spell she's not interested in and she can cast it, she has to repeat and repeat and repeat until the teacher is satisfied. That's not fun. That's really not fun. Again, I can speak from experience, kinda, from school. I was one of the gifted children, which did me a whole lot of nothing good in adulthood, by the way. But yeah, I was very often bored during classes. Like, the teacher would teach us, I don't know, multiplication, or like powers, or roots, or whatever. And I would get it. Like, the teacher explains, hey, 2 times 2 is 4, because you repeat it 2 times. And yeah, cool, I get it. And then there's like 3 more classes about multiplication. And it's like, you know, all those equations you gotta do with multiplication. And I'm like, I get it. I understand it. I really don't need to repeat the same fucking thing 60 times to fully comprehend it. So I can fully understand Richa here. I don't want them to contaminate mine. Now that's a completely different thing. This is not coming from the standpoint of being bored or irritated about having to repeat one spell, one seal multiple times. This is coming from the point of, I want my spells to be entirely mine. Kinda not invented here syndrome, right? It's probably a combination of her previous teacher insisting that they only ever learn pre-existing spells and not giving them any space for experimentation, and of Richa's brother telling her that I love your spells, please don't ever stop being yourself, don't ever like make your spells be not your spells, kinda spiel, right? It's probably a combination of those two. She kinda internalized that I have to have my own spells that are only mine, that only I know, that I have created myself to like fulfill what my brother asked me. Rachel was apprenticed to another witch before she came here. She uses her stubbornness as a shield to protect herself, like a scale wolf making armor out of its thick fur. Snug stones. They're probably gonna be used. Like Agot is probably gonna use hers in the labyrinth. That's basically a given, I'd say. Agot uses a snag stone in the labyrinth. I really like the genre of spells that Olorugio is dealing with. As I said, I really do. Like a spell that makes you warm at night, a spell that illuminates a path, right? A spell that creates a nice smell in the room, a spell that ensures that your coffee never goes cold, right? Like those sorts of useful day-to-day, small, unimportant spells. And yeah, one's for you. This is cool. I initially wasn't sure what this machine is, and my first thought was that it's some sort of like auto spell maker, right? Like you feed it magic ink and you give it a seal and it just completes like 50 copies of the same seal when you need multiples for some purpose, kind of a photocopier. But no, it's a fax. It's basically a fax, which confirms that the action of this show takes place in Germany. Or Japan, actually. They do love their fax in Japan as well. But I mostly associate it with Germany ever since I saw that there exists a service. Can't remember the name, but it was basically AI over fax. Like you fax them a prompt and they fax you the answer back. And the website was in German and the company was operating in Germany. So yeah, you're getting your test done. It's sparkly and roly-poly, is it pretty? Seeking validation with her brother. Your big brother loves it when you make spells that express who you are, never stop being yourself, and then he left. And the question of you don't want to look at my spells anymore. Probably some sort of internalized way of thinking that if I continue making spells that are mine and mine alone, then perhaps one day my brother will arrive to look at them. If I start churning out spells that are not mine, he's not going to be interested and I'll never see him again. Kinda sort of thing, I feel. Yeah, he got the hat. He was crowned a witch. Long hair, loose ponytail. It's either a streak of light or a streak of white hair. Kinda hard to tell. Is that the same teacher that came here with the hentai protagonist hair boy? Maybe? Maybe it's the same one. What happened to Ri? Why is he not contacting Riche? I don't think, although I don't know because it was never mentioned, but I don't think there is any like specific rule of you have to be a part of the atelier until you complete your education, and during that time you cannot be in contact with your family or any sort of thing like that. I don't think anything like it exists. What would be stopping Riche's brother from contacting her? Either he went really far away, or he's dead. The world of Witch Hat Atelier doesn't really strike me as all that deadly, though. Unless you anger the Knights Morales, or a Brim Hat has their eye on you, then it really doesn't strike me as all that deadly. What's the deal with Riche's brother? Why is Riche's brother not in contact? Dead? Question mark. Far away? Question mark. Ah. Why did he seemingly not tell Riche where he's going? Like, listen, sis, I'm like of age now that I want to take up education, and I'm gonna be going away to some witch's atelier, and I'm gonna be learning, and you can come see me, and I can come see you. Instead, the separation here seems very traumatic for Riche. Certainly more traumatic than her brother going to school, right? Okay, his hair is long and kind of wavy, but not quite as long. Yeah, no, that's not him. That's not him that Rich's brother went with. Someone else. Like night and day with my little failure here. But what it does tell us is there are teachers who are not great. Which validates the theory that Rich's teacher wasn't great. Right? Sincerity of the shield. You become like a knight with a shield, keeping your targets safe as you escort them from the entrance to the exit. You mustn't lose sight of your charge. Yeah. You fail if you're witnessed casting spells as well. Magical ruin from a more tumultuous age. Labyrinth spell. We now know theoretically how to draw a labyrinth spell, I guess. And there are no seals or marks or anything else that I recognize here. Using magic to protect them from magic. Right, yeah. Humans during the tumultuous age kind of fucked up the area, and their usual passage to the breeding grounds is all sorts of fucked up with magic, so we gotta take, ownership of that, and we can't really undo the spell for some reason. I don't know why. The seal is probably embedded somewhere in the rock, so you could probably wipe it off. But we can't do that for whatever reason, so we can at least help the animals. We guide and protect the young ones making the trip for the first time. And Richa also gets one. You'll be taking the test too. Serious face on Qifrey. I guess you don't care about what I want either. Adults all just force you to do what they want. I do care what you want. That's precisely the reason I want you to take the test. What you learn here will empower you in the life you want to live. Yeah? Yeah? You sometimes gotta give something up to get, like, more in return, so to speak. Like, if any of us was just going through their life doing whatever the hell they want, I don't think many people would be, like, going to school. I don't think many people would be working, like, out of their own volition. Right? It's not something you do out of your own volition. It's something that you're kind of forced to do in one way or another. But it gives you something in return. It gives you possibilities. School gives you knowledge, gives you companionship, gives you all sorts of things, certifications, yada yada. Work gives you money. Money lets you do things. Right? Like, if you don't work, then you have all the time in the world for whatever, but you can't really do anything with that time. Right? Like, oh, I don't have a job, I can go for a vacation for however long I want. Well, how are you gonna pay for it? Right? That's the kind of thing here, I think. You gotta give something up for your freedom. You gotta get enslaved a little bit to get a little bit more freedom, paradoxically. There really is no correcting fools like that. They just complain. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about you, mate. Go away. The migration has begun. And they have not turned into penguins. I wonder if it's just like visual to make it easier for us to track who's who, or is it, or did they actually not transform for some reason? Ah, I'll tell you some history. Forbidden spells drawn before the day of the pact, who do all sorts of fucky-wacky things, although, far as I can tell, like, you could just go straight. It's not like that road is suspended in mid-air. There is solid rock. You could just go straight. But probably not. Probably there's some sort of magic preventing you from doing so. It's a test about using magic to protect against magic. The Shadow of Romonon. That's the next episode. Whoop. Okay. That was very much a transitive episode. It was an episode that prepares us for the finale. And Agot taking that test, and having to go through the labyrinth and finding who knows what inside, and having to deal with all of that is what's going to raise the stakes in episode 12, I presume. And then in episode 13, the stakes are going to go whoop, because the new Brim Hat appears and does some shenanigans. And Riche probably has a bit of a character growth moment where she has to use someone else's spell, maybe? Like, I don't know, what's her name? Aleira. Like, Aleira tells her, Riche, cast Seal 78C, or we all die, and Riche has to cast Seal 78C because she doesn't have a choice. She has to do that. Maybe that, or maybe she saves the day with her own spell. Ah. Interestingly, Richa had no issue mass-producing the explosion spells when they were trapped in the labyrinth early on. She had to produce them. Someone told her to produce them. Those were like mass production spells, not her own, I don't think. She had no issues. I wonder how it's gonna go. We're certainly gonna get a bit more about Riche, and Riche is certainly gonna get a character growth moment. Tetia had one, Agot had one. Time for Riche to deal with her problems, right? That's probably what we can expect. It's not going to be so much about Agot as it's going to be about Riche, I feel. I don't know, I could be completely mistaken though. We'll see, I guess, in future episode. But right now, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, yeah, that's how it goes. No, that's not how it goes. That's gonna be it from me for today. But you guys, you tell me, what did you think of this episode? My reaction, my theories, stuff like that. No spoilers, they can go to my Discord here, also in the description. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe and click the bell to be notified of future videos on the channel. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below. On Patreon, you can get access to picture-in-picture versions of every single episode I release. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to do that. Share my content, spread the word, it costs absolutely nothing to do so, and it helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Jack Witt, AL, Floor Nightingale, Dr. Watt, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to write anybody else's spells.